We're all seeing green. That's right. Of course, it's St. Patty's Day. We're talking green food, green clothes. Some folks in the Triad even have names perfect for this year, like Lucky or Shamrock or Green. We have one thing in common with those people who have those same names. A lot of us have some unclaimed cash. There's millions of dollars in unclaimed cash, and to help you figure out how to get yours, we have Dale Folwell, the North Carolina State Treasurer, with us today. He is taking your questions as well. Here's how you get your question to him. You're going to text us that question. That number is 336-379-5775. This is a text only. Please don't call. All of your questions are anonymous, and you get them answered right on the spot. All right, so let's talk about some unclaimed cash by the numbers. There's a lot of money in those coffers.
Absolutely. There's over $900 million sitting at nccash.com. Over 181 million of that is local to your viewers. And just to always remind people who've come here from other states, every state has an equivalent of nccash.com.
All right, and we got a few bucks in there. All right, we kind of talked about it a little bit, how there are some folks that have some lucky names that deal with like St. Patrick's Day. I love when you guys look through all of the database and you find the last names. There's some really funny ones for St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely. Shamrock and Goldie and Golden and Gold and all kinds of names. We did the exact same thing for Valentine's and also Christmas. So it's just another theme that we're building to try to get the news out to people to go to nccash.com and check their name, maiden, kids, parents, business, and nonprofit and church.
All right. Well, for some people who are like, okay, I don't know what this unclaimed cash stuff is at the treasurer's office, what is unclaimed cash?
Unclaimed cash, generally speaking, is where somebody tried to mail you a check that you did not receive or did not cash. So it could be a small bank account that somebody opened for you as a child and it sort of got lost in the shuffle. You could be the beneficiary of a life insurance policy. We're in the midst of paying out a $200,000 claim where the person did not realize that they were a beneficiary of a life insurance policy. So that's really what unclaimed cash is. We do have physical items. We have some baby teeth, silver teeth, gold teeth, and false teeth because there's, and I'm looking for a lower partial myself. They're kind of expensive these days. But the reason is that all the abandoned lock boxes in North Carolina at a bank, if they drill that lock box out for lack of payment, all those contents get sent to the treasurer's office. So we also have some physical items. And to be far more reverent for a moment, we were able to return some World War II medals recently to a family who'd been looking for them for 14 years.
Wow, 14 years. Okay, so there's stories like that all over the place. And some unclaimed property is a whole bunch of money, and some unclaimed property is just 20 bucks. In fact, I got 20 bucks. I think it was like about a month ago. It was after Valentine's Day when we talked about unclaimed cash. I put my name in there, and there it was, 20 bucks. And I got my check within like 2 weeks. We want to show you somebody else who got some cash just recently right here in Greensboro. It was the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. They got a big old check. You were there in Greensboro just this week.
I was on Monday morning and met with the executive director there. And in the case of the International Civil Rights Museum in Greensboro, they had put a deposit on a phone system years ago. And they ended up not using that phone system, but they had changed P.O. boxes in the meantime. So when the phone company tried to refund that money to them, it got kicked back through the mail and then ended up at the treasurer's office. So we were very glad to be able to present that to the International Civil Rights Museum there in Greensboro, a reminder of people who like to contribute there, sort of keeps their name at the top of our mind. And I left there and went to Chapel Hill and presented another $1,000 to the Hope House, State Employees Credit Union Hope House there in Chapel Hill. And yesterday, $12,000 to a high school in northern Wake County.
Wow. Okay. So there are people, there are entities, there's organizations, there's charities, all of which could have some unclaimed cash. So we want to show you how you look for your unclaimed cash. You're going to go to nccash.com. We're going to show you what the search engine looks like. It is really simple. You put your name in there. You put a city in there if you want to, especially if you've lived in a couple of different cities. You should look at each place where you lived. Is that right?
That's correct. If you have an unusual name like Folwell, even though we've been in the Guilford County area for 140 years, you just simply put in Folwell. You don't even have to put in a city, but obviously if your last name's Jones or Smith or Stewart, you need to kind of narrow it down. But be sure to check not just your name, but also your maiden name.
Gotcha. And so we want to make this very, very clear. When you search and find your unclaimed cash in North Carolina, it is absolutely free. There is no charge, there is no fee, none of the above. But if you Google unclaimed in cash and you click on whatever comes up on Google, you might find a third party who will charge you a fee. So folks really need to make sure that they're on your site.
Exactly. And, this falls into the theme of, two wants to know. This is better odds than playing the lottery, and you don't have to pay to play. There's no charge to look up your name and no charge to make your claim. And yours was, Tanya, was auto adjudicated. When you put in your claim, everything lined up perfectly, and those claims are going out very, very quickly. Obviously, if you've changed addresses or something else has happened to you, or you've been married or divorced or have a different name, it takes a little longer.
Okay, and so sometimes people get a little kind of cautious when they go on the website and they say, well, it's asking for my social security number. That is normal when you get to a certain aspect. Why is that?
That's a fantastic question, as always. The reason that is that when those claims come to us from the banks, they come to us with an identifier of the social security number. So there's really no other way to keep up with it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be taking your text questions when we come back. We're back in just a few minutes.